Mr. Minusco has a prenuptial agreement that both parties signed in Hawaii, where Mr. Minusco lives, and he would just like some testimony on what property he would like divided by the court today as well.
All right. Ms. Minusco, do you want to give your opening statement now or?
Your Honor, good morning. I filed for a motion of continuance for this case because I am totally interested in continue this case with the proper legal advice and legal aid that I am allowed by law to represent. And the reason I did not answer to this case in the proper time is that I was losing my job in that time and I couldn't pay for a lawyer. I kindly request my petition to be approved in this morning. Thank you.
Okay. So you said you filed a continuance?
Yes. And I have the copy and it is it's stamped by the court. And I emailed to the opposing party as well, to the lawyer.
All right. So Mr. Starr, she's made a general appearance, so it's not going to be
I understand. I would still like to go forward today. Mr. Minusco they lived in Hawaii. His wife left some time ago and he had to hire people to try and find her. He's been waiting on this divorce for a long time and she was served in February. That's a long time to get a lawyer. And
she really thought continuance would get approved after months of delays. Yeah, not happening. And unfortunately for her, that won't be the only thing getting denied today. Let's see how this plays out.
What was the date of your separation?
June 1st, 2022.
Okay, and at that time when you separated, did your wife leave the marital residence and go to another state?
She did. She was removed by the police from the residence.
Okay, and you actually have a protective order on your wife currently, don't you? An active one.
That's correct.
Okay. And when does that expire, to your knowledge?
November of this year.
Okay. Now, do you know where your wife went after that?
I'm aware now that she's in Texas.
Okay. And so you believe she's been living there since then, correct?
Correct.
Has the marriage become insupportable due to discord or a conflict of personalities that destroys the legitimate ends of the marriage relationship?
Yes.
Is there any reasonable expectation of reconciliation with your wife?
No.
Now, you don't have a final decree, but you had a prenuptial agreement. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and that's her signature and your signature on the prenuptial agreement.
That's correct.
Okay, and did you guys alter that in any way when you submitted it to me? Okay. Your Honor, I would like to offer Petitioner's Exhibit P-001 into evidence, the prenuptial agreement signed in Hawaii.
Any objection, Ms. Fundin? Okay, what's your objection?
This prenup was made in scratch. It was signed by both. It has scratches. It was not legalized. And I don't think a document like that could be a valid prenup. It was not signed by a notary or a lawyer, and it is totally a scratch.
Okay, Mr. Starr, your response.
Well, it's an opposing party statement, Your Honor, and they're both of sound mind. And they agreed to this going into the marriage, and parties are able to contract among themselves. And this is a contract between two parties.
All right. You want to put it on the screen?
Okay. Here you are, Your Honor. It's on the screen.
All right.
I mean, it's made in the state of Hawaii. It's signed by both parties. If you look at the bottom here,
okay.
contract between both parties. And then the statutes of Hawaii regarding prenuptial agreements say that these are enforceable and that they are enforceable even without any consideration as well. And it's also it should be in your box as well, Your Honor.
Okay. So Miss
And there's two, and there's a witness.
Suka, okay. Who's Eileen Boland? Oh, is that the witness? Okay, that's the witness.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so is that your signature there, Miss Fonseca? Does you have signed there?
Objection.
Okay, you've already made your objection. We're just deciding now whether this is proper to enter into evidence. Is that your signature?
It is, but why is not showing the scratch part?
We're asking specifically, there's above, there's property of the parties. This house, and you'll hear testimony from Mr. Minusco, is separate property that he owns with two of his other family members before the marriage.
What she tried to do was invalidate the entire prenuptial agreement just because one part was scratched out. But as we just saw, that's not how it works. Nice try, though. Let's see what the judge has to say.
That's correct.
Okay, do you own that house in its entirety?
I do not.
Who else do you own it with?
There are several mortgages as well as my parents on the deed.
Okay, so you own it with, and your name is on the mortgage?
That's correct.
Okay, is your wife's name on the mortgage?
It is not.
Okay. Are there any vehicles that you're wanting as awarded to you?
Yes, there are.
What vehicle is that, sir?
There is a Toyota Highlander and a Jeep Wrangler.
I'm going to stop screen sharing, Your Honor. Now, are you in possession of both of those vehicles?
I am not.
Okay, what vehicle are you in possession?
I'm in possession of the Toyota Highlander.
Okay, and is your name on the deed to that?
It is.
Is your wife's name on the deed to that?
It is not.
Okay. Did you own it before the marriage?
No.
Okay, you bought it during the marriage.
Yes.
The Jeep Wrangler, is your name on the deed to that car?
It is.
Okay, are you in possession of it?
I am not.
Okay, who is in possession of that vehicle to your knowledge?
Neither myself nor the respondent.
Okay. Did she take it with her when she left Hawaii?
She took it with her when she was removed from the house. Yes.
Okay, is that the car she normally drove though?
It is.
Okay. Is there a note on that car? Like a loan?
There is a outstanding loan on the vehicle.
Okay, whose name is that in?
That is in my name.
In your name only?
In my name only.
Okay, are you asking for possession or the right to repossess that vehicle? That
I
you
am.
can pay off that loan? Okay. In the alternative, if the judge, because the judge's job is to make an equitable distribution of the estate, would you say that in the alternative, she be responsible for that debt on that vehicle since she took the vehicle?
Yes.
Now, did you file a proposed property division?
I did.
Okay, are you asking the court to make that an order of what you want in a proposed property division that you filed?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, and I'd like to offer that into evidence as a record of his testimony. It's labeled as P002, and it's in your box as well.
All right, you want to bring it up on the screen, please, so she can look at it?
Yes. Okay. So you filed this with the court, correct?
Your office did, correct.
Okay. Well, on your behalf, so you did.
Yes. Yes.
And then we see the Jeep Wrangler 2017 and the Highlander here. And you owe about $10,000. Is that your testimony on the Jeep Wrangler?
The debt balance is about 22,000.
Okay, so there's 22. Okay, I see it here. And then the market value is 11,000. What are you basing that off of?
This was based on a Kelly Blue Book value. Again, the condition of the vehicle is unknown.
Now, your wife has a Bank of Hawaii savings account. Is that correct?
I'm basing this information on the previous information provided to the Hawaii courts.
Okay. So are you asking, when it petitioner's exhibit 002?
All right, Ms. Fonseca, do you, any objection to the admission of petitioner's exhibit 2? It's just his argument, really. They're really kind of demonstrative and not true evidence, but this is kind of a guideline of what petitioner is saying that the court should do.
Okay.
Back that up with evidence. But do you have any objection to this admission?
I totally do. The Jeep value is not 11,000. That Jeep, if you see on the market, you can sell that Jeep for 32 or 34,000.
That would be something that you could put on as evidence. And, I hadn't sworn you yet, and I did ask you about that on your signature, so I'll have to ask you that again, or somebody will, because you weren't sworn yet when I asked you that. But that's really not a legal objection. Any other objection about this? Because, see, you can come back on your testimony after you're sworn in and say, well, that's not the value of the Jeep. But that doesn't negate the admission of the evidence, which is really just a demo.
There is a Jeep and there is a Highlander. Those both were acquired during the marriage. None of these cars had an actual debt. They're all paid off.
Okay. All right. Petitioner's Exhibit 2 is admitted.
Thank you, Hannah.
All right. He may proceed, sir.
Okay. Mr. Minusco, the 401ks that you're asking the court to award in your name, are those something you earned through your employment?
That's correct.
Okay, and these aren't from your wife's jobs. You're not asking to take her 401ks from her jobs. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then all these unsecured debts, you're asking the court to award those in your name as well.
That's correct.
Now, are there any children born or adopted during the marriage who are currently under the age of 18?
There are not.
Okay. And just to kind of reiterate, you're asking the court to award you the house as separate property. Deem it separate property.
Correct.
Is there anything else that you think the court needs to hear today?
Just in regards to the Jeep, I have not seen or been in possession of that Jeep since our separation almost 2 years ago. I have heard from friends who have seen this around town, and I've been provided pictures that someone, not the respondent nor myself, have been driving that Jeep around illegally, towing watercraft around with it. I've been insuring this vehicle, and this is liability to me, and I just need to make sure this either comes back into my possession or gets my name removed from that, and I cannot do that without a divorce decree.
Okay, and then
And I'm not real sure Jeep or whoever financed it would agree to remove you, right? Isn't that
I've had problems dealing with this.
Well, I mean, isn't that the law, Mr. Stara? They can show a divorce decree awarding, a debt to somebody all day long, but they're still going to go after, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, I believe you're correct. Mr. Manusco, in the alternative, if you can't get if if your wife can't refinance the Jeep or return the Jeep to you, are you asking for a judgment for the amount of money that you owe on the Jeep against her?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, except for the Jeep, are you asking the court to award you the personal property in your possession and to award your wife the personal property in her possession?
Correct.
Okay. Do you think the court needs to hear anything on the protective order or the issues that arose around that?